Welcome to Mama What's Next, a podcast for all the amazing women navigating the wonderful challenges of exploring a new version of yourself after becoming a mom. I'm your host, Melie, and together with my incredible guests, I'm here to help you explore who you are now and help guide you to your true path, one that feels authentic and fulfilling at the same time. Motherhood changes everything, yes. It's beautiful, transformative, and sometimes it pulls us away from the woman we were. Together we dive into career change stories and how to live a life that truly reflects who we are without guilt and with the courage to embrace your journey. So get yourself a coffee, steal a moment for yourself, and let's explore this next chapter of your life. I am super happy that you're here. Welcome. Today, I want to talk about how to make a career change without losing financial stability. The biggest mistake is quitting without preparing yourself financially, without having some sort of plan. Like, people are so frustrated and so over whatever they're doing that sometimes they will just have that moment of, okay, that's it, I'm done, I'm out. And all of a sudden, the lights turn off and you haven't actually thought it through properly. You haven't put a plan B in place first. And you don't actually know where you're going yet. And that's never really a good place to start from. The other extreme is, and many women actually are quite prone to doing this, we wait for the perfect clarity and permission. We wait and wait and wait because we think we will get to a place where we just know exactly, where we want to go. We know exactly the roadmap. We know exactly all the steps, but it's just never really like that. You've got to take that leap of faith. You've got to trust yourself, and you've got to put yourself out there into unknown territory sometimes in life to experience things that are, exciting and adventurous and so much better than the place where you're at. And, a McKinsey study actually showed that particularly women delay leaving toxic jobs due to the fear of instability. And what happens often is they burn out, or in the end, they're being pushed out instead, which feels even worse. So if your job doesn't make you feel good, if it makes you feel unwell, unhappy, if you dread going to work, if you are not fulfilled, if your days go by and you wonder what you're even doing and your mind is drifting off and you feel like you're not actually working towards anything anymore, then it's probably time to take a good hard look at yourself and just assess the situation. And one of the biggest tips that I can give you is really to block out the noise that is coming from you from all sides around you, because that noise gets really, really, really loud. And I remember from the many times that I have changed jobs and pivoted in my career, and these voices, particularly at these times, they get so loud and everybody is coming at you going like, have you thought this through? Are you sure you're going to do this now? The economy is so bad. Have you planned all the steps? Have you already got the job, the next one to go to? And sometimes it just doesn't work that way, Sometimes you've got to take that first step towards something where you just trust into this being, your path, the right path. But at the same time, it's really, really critical that as a career changer, you are pre-planning your steps just a little bit. So it's really advisable to plan out at least 6 months ahead. So I want to give you a few tips when you are changing careers and making a career transition into a new area. So while you're still in your corporate role or, in your job, wherever you are at the time, use your time while you're there, while you're having a safety net, while you're doing work that is maybe not very challenging and, you might be bored. Use your time and energy that you have outside of your work and in the breaks that you have to sit down and assess your skills and your passions and your values and what makes you excited, what makes you, jump out of bed in the morning, what topics can you think about, talk about, get excited about on a daily basis. What are the topics that you rave about to your friends that make you come alive, that get you excited? And, think about your skills that you have acquired in all your various jobs. And it's really quite interesting. And I will take you through some interesting exercises in the near future where you get to explore these topics a little bit more. But it's really quite interesting when you actually start to sit down and you write down all your skills and you write down all the things that you've actually done in your jobs. You will get your mind blown about the stuff that is going to come out of you. And you're going to look at an A4 page, and it's going to have so much stuff on it. You will not believe that now. But it's a great exercise to do. But I know how it is. Like, it's very, very difficult sometimes to sit by yourself and sit down and go through all these exercises. Most people I know will not do that by themselves, which is why we have people like me. Yay! So, and something I can really recommend is doing some personality tests. So many, many years ago, I've actually done the Clifton Strength Finder. I have 2 of the books and I have done the test, I think by now 3 times. It has changed over the times a little bit, but not dramatically. So there are some core themes in there that I still have, and I will link it to the episode in the show notes so that you can look it up. And it's very interesting to go through your strength topics that you can discover. And I highly recommend that. It's one of my favorite tests, personality tests, and I've done many of them. But it gives you quite a great idea as to where your strong areas lie and how you can maybe link them up to whatever you're passionate about. So, and then the second point is plan a great financial runway for yourself. Give yourself like 3 to 6 months. I'd say like a good 6 months to save up, give yourself a buffer, even if you have a plan in place. And oftentimes when you're doing a career change, sometimes you need to also step out of, whatever you're doing. You need to step away from everything for 1 or 2 or 3 months. Just give yourself a break. And, you will see that actually really helps you clear your mind, get out of that energy, especially when you're in a job that doesn't make you happy, where you're working with people that don't make you happy. It's very important to step out of that energy, to reconnect with yourself and reconnect with your own energy and what lights you up and what makes you happy. And oftentimes it's important to maybe just push yourself into somewhere where you wouldn't normally go. Maybe take off for 2 weeks by yourself and just see what that does with you. So anyway, the financial plan is important, and that you put yourself into a position where, and I know this is hard because I've always dreaded doing this, but put your expenses on a piece of paper. Like, just take an Excel sheet and put a budget on an Excel sheet and just see what you're spending your money on, just to get some awareness and put it black on white. So you see what's there and you see what's needed, and sometimes you're going to be surprised. Maybe there's a way that you can sublease your place for a while you're going to travel somewhere else. And sometimes you can lease somewhere where you potentially want to move. So for example, that's how I've moved in the past. Like I have done test living in places where I've done, a few weeks here and a few weeks here, 1 or 2 months. And maybe sometimes you can swap places with someone. There's lots of different options. So it's important that you have an idea as to where you're going. Like if you really are planning on a career change, like you and transitioning into a new role, you should have a good idea as to what that actually would look like, and start visualizing it in your mind and drafting a roadmap. So that's what generally when I speak with women, like we will look at, is there potentially a path that you need to carve out first? Maybe you need to do 1 or 2 certificates that give you credibility to upskill. So that would be my 4th point, to upskill in a smart way. So to use different courses or certificates that give you a good return on invest. So is there a particular, a university with a good resume, for example, or some certificates in the marketing space, maybe if you're in marketing, that have a very high credibility. So don't just randomly pick things that you get for free everywhere, because potentially that's not going to impress people. So sometimes also you might work in project management. So maybe you want to do some certification in agile project management, become a scrum master or some things like that. So there are, certainly classes and certificates that you can take that have a certain value for employers. And it's important to look that up and compare these before you're taking the step. Hey, it's Melie from Mama What's Next, and thank you so much for listening today. Did you know we actually have a free membership at mamawhatsnext.com, where you can connect with like-minded moms and find tools to help you navigate your next steps with confidence. And if you ever feel like you need a little more personal guidance to help you figure out what comes next for you, I am here to support you one-on-one as well. I know what it's like to feel you've lost yourself, to start from zero in a new country, pivoting and transforming a career. I have done it several times alone as a single mom across 4 countries. And I would love nothing more than helping you rediscover yourself, see your potential, and build a work life that feels aligned with who you truly are. So if that sounds like something you'd love, come and visit me at mamawhatsnext.com. I'd love to hear from you. Then another point is, and that's something I have done in the past as well, and I would highly recommend, is to start building with a side hustle and to start exploring different things on the side. So potentially you can actually step down from your current role and reduce your hours, going from 40 hours to maybe 30 hours, and that frees up your space a little bit. And then you could potentially start freelancing on the side. You might be thinking about doing design work, you might be thinking about mentoring, and then you can actually have some time to explore this space, prepare for it, learn more about it. I know women that have become human design mentors, that have started to take some courses and classes, or spirituality, like to start doing some spiritual programs where they have learned, about certain spiritual modalities, healing modalities, how they can support people on the side, which then in turn maybe feeds you so much that you can actually sustain your daytime job. And particularly for women and mothers, we're very creative people. And oftentimes this is really what we need. We need more than one element to feed our soul. So that's something I would really recommend. That gives you the financial support while exploring something else. So that's something I have done in the past as well. Or I have specifically when I started to move into a new area, going from marketing into recruitment, for example, my focus was to specifically go into a part-time role and to do this only with 60%, so that I can at the same time start building other projects on the side, or I could offer marketing services. I mean, I work with people on websites, on social media, video, and I help them craft strategies. And so I would have then enough time to work on ad hoc small projects on the side while still having enough income every month. And at the same time, you will actually find that because you are feeding your soul with so much joy and so much, I guess, nourishment and so much excitement with the projects that you're really, really passionate about, that you might not actually find that daytime job so difficult to keep anymore. You might actually find that even though it might not be your non-plus perfect, amazing, thrilling, exhilarating role, that you might actually find that both of these in parallel might actually be the right combination for you. So it's worth really exploring that. I have done it myself, and it's worked really well, especially when you're like a multi-passionate, multi-hyphenate kind of person. This is something that I feel works really well for women, for mothers, because you can do them parallel and you do both of it in a part-time capacity, and maybe one of the areas you can actually up and down scale depending on how much time and energy you have available. Especially, for example, if you work in mentoring, coaching, like you can actually take on projects as in the right way that you are able at the time. It's also important to keep exploring these things for yourself before really stepping fully into something like this, because you might actually find that maybe it's not the right thing for you. So, which isn't a problem. Like that's all cool. Like life is experimentation. It's all like we're all trying new things all the time. And the more you try, the more you find yourself, the more you connect with yourself, the more you feed your soul, the more you connect with your soul and what your soul is calling you to do. So I really encourage you to just try different things, and oftentimes to do it in a safe, secure, financially more secure way is to just do little side steps while you're keeping a part-time role. And last but not least, of course, like it's always very, very important to work on your energy and on your mindset at the same time. It's very important, no matter if you're out job hunting or if you are stepping into a new area, making a career transition, that it's really important to start visualizing the life that you're looking for, that you start visualizing yourself and how you feel and how you will want to feel in this new way of life that you're carving out for yourself, that you're exploring, that you're creating for yourself before your eyes. It's really beautiful to see it come together. And if you start to find the right kind of mix and the right kind of setup for yourself, I encourage you to do just little exercises every day, like just even for a few minutes. And I do this usually in the morning. And personally, I love to use Dr. Joe Dispenza's morning meditation, which is, generally 20 minutes. I cut it short sometimes a little bit because I don't have enough time sometimes to looking after my daughter. But I do this usually when I'm still in bed, and I close my eyes and I put my headphones on and I do like 10, 15 minutes. And you start to visualize the life that you are wanting to build for yourself, and you start to see yourself in this way and in this role, and you start to see how you're juggling these 1 or 2 or 3 different things, and you start to feel your way into that life and how that's going to feel, how you're moving from one to the next, and how it's going to make you feel, and how you're going to feel the happiness and the joy and the fulfillment and the purpose. And yes, it really works, and I really encourage you to do this because it makes all the difference. And also when you're looking for work and for jobs, visualizing and getting yourself into the right mindset and into the right energy space is really, really, really important. And it's not that hard, but it's something that needs to be, you need to be mindful of that every single day. And it's just little steps every day, just to reflect and to build on that vision that you want to create for yourself, where you want to go. And yeah, that's my little excursion today. I think it's important that before you make the big, bold move for yourself, before you're rushing into something, make a little plan for yourself, tick off all these points. And what's equally as important, don't get stuck into analysis paralysis. Don't overthink. And I know I'm like that myself, but you've just got to whisk yourself out of that because you can never fully plan out everything. Don't over dramatize everything. There's always a way out. There's always a way forward. So I wish you all the best for your journey. So remember, at the end of the day, you are not starting over completely. You're starting from a point of experience, especially women, we mothers, we have achieved and done and experienced so much in our life already. So every role you've held in your life, along with every diaper you've changed, every meeting you've had in the past and every challenge you've overcome has built you to what you are now and has built your resilience and your wisdom, and you're just becoming a new, more amazing version of yourself. So, on to your next chapter, and your next chapter doesn't need to be rushed. You can take your time. You can take the next 6 months, step by step, little baby steps, like I always say. And, you're allowed to change your mind. You're allowed to pivot. We are all changing all the time. And you are allowed to build a life that feels aligned with yourself, with your passions, with your values, with the most amazing vision that you can craft for yourself and for your new version of success and your new version of happiness. So enjoy the journey, enjoy the adventure, and enjoy the exploring and your next chapter. And thank you so much for listening today. And I will be happy to speak to you again next week. Until then, lots of love. Bye. All right. Hello. And I'm so grateful you were here today, tuning in and showing up for yourself. If you love this episode, can I ask for a quick high five? Yes, that's right. Just hit that subscribe button at the top and leave me a review and share this episode with someone who could use a little inspiration today. Your support really means the world. Let's also give ourselves a big hug for showing up, being honest, and supporting each other on this incredible journey. Don't forget to check the show notes for links to connect with me on Instagram and LinkedIn. I'd really love to keep in touch. Until next time, keep being the incredible real you that the world needs. I'll see you back here soon. Bye.